And is that the issue that people talk about as being a big constraint for them, the costs?
Yes, costs and lack of profitability. And what that means is you don't have the money to invest in other things. You don't have the money to invest
Okay.
in new staff. You don't have the money to invest in new plant and equipment. You don't have that opportunity to do things that maybe might make your business run a bit smarter or more efficiently because you're just putting out fires. And as I often say, you're just putting one foot in front of another.
You're saying costs going up. Consumers also are facing problems, so they don't spend, and that's what's hitting the profit margins, which leads to difficulty in investments. Are we seeing that? Is that coming up in the survey as well? The capital investment is
It,
not so strong?
yeah, capital investment is certainly slowed. I think at a small business level, we've seen businesses who perhaps have taken advantage of some of the tax write-offs, and if they've had to borrow to do any of that, then the higher interest rates are also impacting borrowings for business. We often don't think of business borrowings, but they are impacted just as much as the housing mortgages when rates are moving up.
Okay. And one thing that we've discussed over time has been the difficulty in finding staff, appropriately qualified staff, which I find interesting because it suggests that the businesses want to grow, they want to invest. So there's both a positive and a negative aspect to the sentiment here.
It is. I think there's two sides to this. The staff or the skills shortage is still significant. I think 47% of businesses put it in their top 5, but it is coming back a little bit from where it was. The unemployment rate is still low, and I think therein lies the challenge of when you do want to recruit, it's hard to get the people you want still because we're effectively at a reasonably low employment level. So most people who want jobs are getting the jobs they want.
So there is strength in that aspect of the economy, but the fact that the unemployment rate is so low remains a constraint, I guess, on that growth.
Yeah, and we are certainly seeing some sectors. Certainly, the people listening would hear or see in the paper around cafes are often the ones that the press pick up on. Cafes, restaurants closing down, and that impacts job losses. There are some other businesses who might be making staff redundant or putting people off that don't necessarily hit the headlines because they're operating in other sectors that fly under the radar, but we are hearing more instances of businesses downsizing.